All right, so we're going to jump over to structuring your campaign. Now that we know who we can show our ads to and where the ads might show up, let's talk about how Google wants us to structure. So in green is the Google Ads account overall. And then under that is campaigns. And I'm going to go into a little bit more in depth on these, but each campaign has different ad groups in there. And then inside that are the keywords and the ads. So a little confusing, but it works very well this way. Again, where you can ramp up certain things. You want to sell more motorization. Well, you probably have a campaign specifically for motorization that you can add more budget to, for an example, something like that. So when it comes to campaigns, they're the top level or kind of like the top of the silo. And there's a lot of different ways that you can go about building a campaign. It could be a brand campaign. So specifically just trying to get your name out there in more places in front of more people. Generic window treatment searches. So somebody just typing in window treatments near me or awnings near me, something like that. And then, of course, you can start to be a little bit more specific with hard treatments versus soft treatments. Those can be separate campaigns. Upholstery repair, bedding, any of these other things that you might also do. Some of our clients do solar tinting, right, on windows since they're doing awnings, things like that. Commercial is another good one. Make sure you're showing your ads differently and speaking to that audience differently. A lot of different ways that you can go about that top level category. Next down is the ad groups. So this would be, each campaign is then broken into smaller ad groups inside of that. So if I use soft treatments as an example, you would want separate ad groups for draperies, for swags, for valances, for all these different things inside of that particular area. And then on the hard treatments campaign, you would maybe want ad groups specifically for blind, shade, shutters, those sorts of things. So that, again, you have a little bit more control, right? You could turn these on, turn them off, add budget, turn budget off, those kinds of things. So there's a lot of different ways that you could go about this. The cleaning or repair, if you do that, you can also kind of target specific different places, commercial versus residential. Lots of different ways to go about it. And then in the Google ad system, when you're looking at each different ad group, you can then see the ads and the keywords that are specifically targeted to that group. And it makes sense because you would speak differently to somebody who wants to get an awning versus somebody who needs their porch windows, solar screens or something. I don't know. But you would speak differently to those. You would have different types of ads for those. So it makes sense to kind of categorize them like this. Back to what Brent mentioned earlier, again, Google makes it so easy to set this up. A lot of times everybody will just set one ad group and throw everything at it, right? There's just throw every single keyword at that one group. And you're kind of hurting yourselves. When it comes to keywords, there are a couple different types of keywords. First of all, we have broad match, which is draperies, for example, window treatments, draperies, Dallas drapery. If you wanted to show your ads anytime somebody put in the word drapery, then Google would treat that as anybody who put in that word, no matter what their search phrase was, right? If it's how do I get rid of my draperies? Your ad could show up when it's a broad match search because that word was used in there. So it can be kind of a waste of money in a lot of cases by just saying, you know what, Google, show my ads anytime they use that word, right? Beyond that, there's also modified broad match, phrase match, and then exact match. And this is where it starts to get a little bit better. With modified broad match, basically what they do is they say, I only want my ad to show up if one of these words is in there, right? So if they use the word draperies, no matter what the phrase is, but that word has to be in there. With regular broad match, if they type in, I hate my curtains, with regular broad match, Google would probably still show your ad, even if you weren't specifically wanting to show ads for the word curtains because they understand how drapery curtains are kind of the same term in their mind. So with modified broad, it means this word has to be in there, and that's why the plus is there. So with phrase match, these words have to be in there. There could be words on either side of this, but these words have to be in there. So, if somebody searches for, tell me about all the places to get awnings in Dallas, since awnings in Dallas is part of your phrase, then your ad would show up, right? So there could be phrases on either side of these, in that kind of a search. Now, the big one here really is the exact match. And that is, I only want my ads to show up when somebody types exactly this. No words on either side. Only when somebody types in Dallas drapery do I want my ads to show up. This is going to obviously severely limit the amount of times your ads show, depending on how many times people actually type this in, but your ads will be very, very targeted. So usually the phrase match is probably the most used because it says, I want these words. If there's words around it, that's probably okay. And then for phrases for key phrases that generate revenue for you, the exact match makes the most sense. It's just, you have to be careful with exact match because if there's any variant around it, they won't show your ad. I also wanted to cover negative keywords. So this is something that a lot of people don't realize that they can do as well. A lot of times there are keywords that you definitely don't want your ad to show up, even if they use one of your keywords. So some of these examples could be, jobs, or maybe they're looking for an association, right? They're looking for the window covering association of America or something like that, right? Auto, boat, etc. Maybe some window treatments for my boat or curtains for my boat or something that you really don't handle. These kind of words you can actually plug into Google and say, don't show my ad if they include any of these words. Definitely can help you keep that budget a little bit more in control. Jobs obviously is a big one. Of course, right now everybody's kind of looking to hire, so you might want to show your ads for those, but maybe not. And then other kind of words around cheap, discount, Home Depot, Lowe's, those kinds of keywords. If they put those in there, don't show my ad. In a lot of cases, competitors is another one. You could put competitors in as negative keywords. So if they type in made in the shade, that your ad doesn't show up, so you're not wasting money. If they're already looking for a specific brand, there's no reason for you to show your ad in that case. Another thing is misspelled keywords. This is something else that you can also find over time. This is actually a screenshot from one of our clients where somebody fat fingered the brand name. But you can grab those over time as they kind of show up in this search and put those in as probably as an exact match, right? If somebody happens to fat finger it in the future, you can show your ad for that. Competitor names, I mentioned this a little bit earlier. You can put your competitor names in and then run ads specifically when somebody types in one of those competitors. In most cases with our clients, that doesn't turn out well. It typically is not a good use of money. It's a fantastic idea. I mean, it sounds great if somebody types in, what does this one say? Blind ambition. Well, let's show our ad and try to grab that customer. But in a lot of cases, what they'll do is they'll even click it or they'll call and then they'll say, I thought this was blind ambition. Never mind. Right. Then you've kind of wasted money. You've wasted time. So what we see in most cases is bidding on competitor names is not a good use of budget. We do see here's an example of, I typed in Sunshine Drapery and one of the competitors showed up. This is Proctor Drapery's ad showed up in here. So they're doing it. They're trying to kind of grab that. We have also seen ads where the ad actually said Sunshine Drapery or how high quality custom drapery from Sunshine, but it would go to a competitor's site. So now we're talking about potential trademark issues, things like that, that could get you in a little bit more trouble. So again, probably not the best use of budget when it comes to trying to generate more leads. So, all right. So let's talk about how to create compelling ads, right? We always want everybody to click on our ads. In a lot of cases, less is more. Sometimes you want to get everything into the ad, right? You want to make sure that they know everything before they even click. But in a lot of cases, all you have to do is kind of repeat back to them what they just searched for. And they'll be like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And they'll click on your ad. So a lot of times less is more when it comes to creating content. The one thing you have to do is make sure you tell them what to do. Click to get started, click to get 10% off, set your appointment here, those kind of things. Always have some sort of call to action in there, making sure that making sure that they know what the next step, next logical step is for them to do. You could mention special offers if you have any sort of discount on anything, or perhaps you're part of the Hunter Douglas system. They always have these specials that they're running throughout the year, something like that. You can mention those in the ads themselves. The trick here, though, is something called ad scent. Make sure that whatever your ad says, that it matches up to whatever happens when they click. I actually, we're looking to get our air ducts cleaned in our house. And it just so happens that, of course, we must have mentioned that somewhere, and now we're getting ads for it right on Facebook. So I saw one last night, and I clicked on it, and the button said, get a quote. So I clicked on the button, and it threw me to their Facebook Messenger. And their Facebook Messenger had 3 questions that pop up. How can we help you? And none of the 3 questions were about getting a quote. It was, do you want to know our hours? I don't remember what the other 2 were, but they had nothing to do with what I clicked on and thought would happen. So it's very important that when you have ads that they smell the same all the way through, right? If you're using graphic ads in this case, make sure that the graphics on the landing page kind of match the ad that they clicked as well. Larry says, I've seen other marketing companies using their own name and brand as a keyword. Why would anyone do that? Right. So they're running ads for their own brand. That's probably because they don't have a strong SEO setup on their site, and they're trying to grab those people to get them to click on their link. So they probably don't have really high SEO where they're not just ranking naturally for their brand, which is probably the easiest thing to do in search engine optimization, is to rank for your own brand. But the other reason could be they just have the budget and they want more placement on that page for that particular search. I would probably agree, Larry. It's probably not the best use of their money. One decision. So on your landing pages, make sure that there are not a lot of things for them to do. There is one thing for them to do, and that is book an appointment. Or maybe there's 2 things, and that is pick up the phone to set an appointment or click this link to set an appointment. Either way, the only thing they can do when they land on that page is to set an appointment. Back to my air duct example, all they did was dump me to their messenger and then never mentioned anything about me getting a quote. There was no automation. In fact, I did this last night and they have not replied yet as of today. So probably wasting their money by not being interactive with it. But when they have when we build landing pages, make sure that there's just one thing for them to do. I says that could also be to see that they see their competitors are putting up ads using their brand name, so they want to counteract it. Yeah, it could be. Again, probably not the best use of money, more of a knee-jerk reaction. I would probably just work on my SEO and rank better that way, ultimately for my own brand. So, all right, some things about great performing ads. The one thing that we do see here related to these ads is there's the ad, but then there's all this other stuff below it. That's pretty awesome. So there are some other things we'll talk about here in a little bit that basically give you more real estate for the ad you're already running. One thing you can do that's really cool is dynamic keyword placement. So you can actually put into the ad, basically, like I mentioned earlier, repeat back to the searcher whatever it is they searched for. So instead of putting in a specific keyword, you can just say, I know this one's pretty small, but on that first headline there, find something now, whatever they typed in. So if they typed in black window shutters, right? Then the ad could actually say, find black window shutters now. And Amazon's really good at this. eBay is really good at this, right? You type something in and those ads show up that have the exact thing you typed in. But you could do this. It's dynamic keyword replacement. You tell it what words or what kind of keyword, key phrases that you want to be part of that. And then they will swap out that content to make the ads a little bit more relevant, which is pretty cool. I mentioned earlier the extra things that you can do. There are something called ad extensions where you can actually add in some other things, phone number, links to specific pages, things like that in here that will give you more real estate for the same price. So I don't see any reason not to really run the ad extensions in a lot of cases. Here's an example for a search for Denver window treatments. These are the 3 results. And look at the first one. I mean, they're just taking up more real estate. There's more links. There's more things for the potential searcher to do. There's no additional cost for this to, just time to set it up. But definitely makes the first one look a lot more appealing than the other 2, if nothing else, just purely by size of the ad. Which is really crazy. So definitely worth looking into ad extensions and make sure that those are set up for you.